In this video, I'm going to talk about Bitcoin Ordinals or Bitcoin NFTs, Bitcoin digital artifacts, how to buy them, how to trade them, what are they, what are Bitcoin Ordinals, and what you can do about them. I'll be following this thread by George the Fed on Twitter, which is really great, adding new stuff around it. There are cool guides, there are also different sources for cool collections that you can find. Generally speaking, it's super early. Some parts of that is technical, so there's like no one slick marketplace where you can just buy with one click and connect with your MetaMask or whatever Bitcoin wallet you're trying to use. There's no such a thing. So usually what people are starting with is installing Bitcoin Core, installing the library for Ordinals, and then going from there on random discords. So let me get started on that with the explanation of why it's possible now. Basically, it's thanks to the Taproot. Taproot is the upgrade to Bitcoin, which brought several new features, and basically it allowed to inscribe new metadata onto Bitcoin, and this is how Ordinals came to be. So Ordinals are really a numbering scheme for satoshis, so you can number the satoshis in a way that allows tracking them and make some of them make rare, some of them inscribe with metadata for images, and this is how NFTs came to be. The difference between these NFTs and, for example, Ethereum NFTs is that this data is immutable, so you won't be able to change that, but basically they work the same way as they do on Ethereum. So this is the guidebook for Ordinals on ordinals.com. This is the main website if you want to go and understand more about that. The author calls them digital artifacts, and he points out the differences between digital artifacts and NFTs, how they can be upgraded, how they can't be censored, and they're permissionless, and a bunch of other stuff. Really interesting stuff in general. So this is the main website for everything related to Ordinals. Now, if you want to start, the main way to start with Ordinals is install the library from the author, from Casey, on Ordinals. You have to basically connect your wallet and use Bitcoin Core for that. So basically it means installing the full node, or at least part of the node, from Bitcoin Core, and then running the library from GitHub by Casey Ord. The links will be down below in the description. So as I've mentioned, this is more of the technical way. So if you're not familiar with using command line, using your terminal for accessing your crypto, this might be hard for you. However, there's another guide that you can use, which is, of what I heard, it's also possible. One of my friends did it, but it's a little bit risky because you have to be super careful. But mainly, you can use Sparrow Wallet for receiving Ordinals, but as I recall, satoshis or bitcoins numbered this way can be transferred out. So you might lose your NFTs if you start to transfer funds in and out of your wallet. And that's why it's super risky. But there's this guide by Dota on Twitter. I'm going to give you the link to that in the description down below. You can use the Sparrow wallet in order to get these NFTs. It's a little bit less technical. You don't have to install anything besides the Sparrow wallet, and then it's just a matter of doing the OTC deal on the Discords for the Ordinals. However, there's this risk that by mistake you might transfer out your own NFTs, thinking that it's just a normal satoshis. So this is the risk here. So the standard way would be installing Bitcoin Core, installing on top of that Ordinals library, and working with the terminal yourself to make everything work. Everything is well described here on the in the Ordinal handbook, and also people are super helpful in various Discords. So if you're looking for a particular collections, going into Discord is really great. I have this list of collections that have the biggest Discord members right now. Also, we'll give you a link to that. This is from Ordinal Hub, and this profile has a list of biggest NFT collections, biggest Bitcoin Ordinals collections by the number of Discord members. So you can see that Taproot Wizards are number one, then you have Satoshi Bulls, Ordinal Punks, and so on. Of course, the number of Discord members doesn't mean anything because you can always inflate it artificially, but it's worth looking at as well and seeing all these collections that you might want to have. So if you want to buy an ordinal, you actually will have to do an OTC deal, and this is going to Discord. This might be scary, so there's like no marketplace right now. I know there are a couple of them coming along the way. There were announcements, but for now there's no marketplace, no official marketplace or even unofficial ones where you can trade ordinals. So everything is OTC, everything is based on trust, even though it's permissionless. So this is the way. Let's go through the George III thread, which is really great. So he explains basically what are ordinals. So mentioning Taproot, the November 2021 upgrade that allowed to do various stuffs and really cool images with ordinals here, and then they allowed to native on-chain storage of JPEGs. So no need for centralized storage like IPFS. Everything is stored on-chain. Then the main author is Rodarmore on Twitter. You can check him out. Casey, who has been talking about the protocol for months and deployed to the mainnet late January 2023. We're in the beginning of February, so it's super early. And still the first 10,000 ordinals are not even, I think, all deployed. So you can really grab some unique stuff. So basically ordinals, as I've mentioned, are single satoshis because with inscribed arbitrary content, because ordinals are just the way to number satoshis. And this numbering gives them this uniqueness and unique metadata that make them into NFTs, which are fully decentralized, permissionless, non-mutable, and 100% on-chain. So that's why it's super cool. Digital artifacts. This is still fungible sats with unique inscriptions on each. So that's why you have to beware with using standard wallets like even Sparrow wallet to transact with them, because you might by mistake transfer them out, even though you wanted to transfer just an ordinary Satoshi. So you need a dedicated wallet, so you don't accidentally send them in a regular transaction. This is for example, there's Ordinals wallet coming along the way, not yet done, I think. So inscribing sending ordinal is not trivial, and you have to run a full Bitcoin node. I guess not full, but maybe but just the part of it. But anyway, you'll need to operate on a Bitcoin level. And do some coding from the terminal in order to do that. Marketplace is coming, so you don't have really a marketplace right now. And right now you have these early ETH vibes. You can see, for example, there are new punks on the and only 100 of them. There's a bunch of stuff related to other collections. You have apes. You have rocks, so a bunch of interesting stuff that George also mentions in his thread. So that's really interesting if you want to go through. Another thing is going through this thread by Dota, and Dota mentions how to use Sparrow, a wallet for transferring NFTs. Then you have the Ordinal hub with this list of different projects. Always do your research, of course. This might be tricky to get going, but basically this is it. This is it for running ordinals. As you can see, this is super early, and that's why we are more on still in the discovery phase. If you're less technical, it might be tricky, but definitely possible. For example, with Sparrow wallet, but definitely do not commit funds that you can't lose, because it's super tricky, especially if you're looking into this thing for speculation. It might be even more trickier. So definitely try to understand what's going on, but then the best way is to wait for the marketplace so that it's easy to connect with, and you have basically this kind of OpenSea looks rare UI where you can easily transact. This will cause a boom in Bitcoin Ordinals, So if you manage to get them before that, of course, that will be great because you managed to get them before all the prices inflate. But if you get after that with the first marketplace, it should be fine as well. So this is all I have to say about the ordinals for now. Let me know in the comments what you would like to learn more when the news come through about the new marketplaces. I'm happy to cover them as well. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more news on blockchains, DeFi, NFTs and more. See you in the next video.